So we'll probably just wait a couple of minutes for everybody to join and we will start our presentation. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining the call. We're here from EDAROTH and we are here to talk to you about what EDAROTH is all about. Excuse me. And thank you very much for having us here today. So EDAROTH is, it stands for Everybody Deserves a Roof Over Their Head. Excuse me. And we are a social and affordable housing developer. We're here to help solve the UK housing crisis, essentially, and it's really in our vision to drive a fresh, approachable, new approach to the social housing industry, offering innovative and affordable housing solutions. So EDAROTH is a subsidiary to Atkins, so you're not in the wrong call. We are just a little extra business added on to Atkins, and we deliver social and affordable homes on public sector land using modern methods of construction. And we're really here to kind of change the traditional approach to building housing and construction. And we use a end-to-end service using modern methods of construction. And we've developed a newly sustainable and more collaborative model for creating these new homes. So I'm just changing my screen. When it works. Okay, so I'm just going to introduce my colleagues, Peter and Richard. I'm just going to give a little introduction of who we are and what we do. So Peter, go ahead.
Yes, so thanks, Ayesha. I'm Peter Lewis. I'm the program director at EDAROTH, but I'm a civil engineer by background. I studied engineering and commerce as a dual degree back in Australia, and I come from a mining infrastructure background, which is about setting up a new mine in the middle of the outback and everything you need to support that. But I moved to the UK about 10 years ago and worked on a wide variety of things since then. So I was in construction at the Olympics. I worked on ports in Guinea and West Africa, environmental projects at Heathrow, station design for HS2, but for the last few years with been working with Ayesha and Richard and the wider EDAROTH team to bring our social housing endeavour to life.
Richard. Okay, thanks, Pete. Hi, everybody. My name is Richard Weeks. I'm the technical director for EDAROTH. Like Pete, I'm an engineer by background. I'm actually a structural engineer. I graduated from Cambridge University about 10 years ago. Spent a couple of years in a small structural engineering consultancy before joining Atkins about 8 years ago now. I've worked on a number of different things during my time at Atkins. I've worked on airports, schools, residential buildings, railway stations, even nuclear power stations. But the last few years, as Pete said, I've spent working with Peter, with Ayesha, and a number of others getting EDAROTH off the ground, and hopefully we'll be able to tell you a bit more about that today.
Thank you. And my name is Ayesha Ghazli. I'm the Key Account Management Coordinator for EDAROTH. I've been with Atkins for 3 years, and I started via an apprenticeship route. So I started Atkins as soon as I finished my A-levels, and now I'm undertaking a master's degree, which is funded by Atkins. And yeah, so I've been working on EDAROTH for a couple of months now, which has been amazing. My previous project was High Speed 2, which was really interesting. I've worked on some company mergers and some acquisitions, some business development over the past couple of years, and yeah, been great. So, Peter.
Yeah, so I'm going to start off by giving you all a bit of context around what we're doing. So slide will load, but it's that the broader UK housing crisis has been pretty well documented and discussed over the last 10 years or so, alongside rising housing prices. But what's often less discussed, but is more pronounced and more important, in my opinion, is UK social housing crisis. And the headline statistics on this topic are really quite staggering. So there's 277,000 homeless people in the UK, and there are 1.1 million households on the National Housing Waiting List, and that's roughly the same number of homes in the entire Greater Manchester region. So we need to build another Greater Manchester worth of houses just to house those people currently waiting for a house. But the forecast, that's assuming that everything remains static, but the forecast over the next 20 years that we'll actually need 3 million new homes. So 3 million new homes, 20 years, that's 150,000 homes per year. And to put that into context, the entire housing market last year, all private, social apartments, houses, the entire market last year built 165,000 homes, which was its biggest year since 2008. And of those 165,000 homes, only 5,000 were social homes. So in the social subsector of the housing market, councils are currently only getting 5,000 homes a year, but they need 150,000 homes a year for the next 20 years, meaning they need to almost duplicate the entire UK housing market just to catch up, which is quite an undertaking. Next slide, please, Ayesha.
Yep.
So to tackle that problem, and we need to do something a little bit different. So the answer isn't to simply double the construction workforce and build twice as many houses as we did last year. We simply don't have the capacity for that. But what we do have is the ability to do things a bit in a new way. So we're lucky as professionals. We live in a time where technology is made and continues to make all sorts of things possible. Cars, as an example, cars are no longer just black Model T Fords. Advances in manufacturing and logistics means that every car is completely customizable. And advances in batteries and computers brought us electric cars, and then new digital disruption through companies like Uber means that anyone's car can now be a taxi. But house building, on the other hand, hasn't changed all that much, but it can. We're still building houses in very traditional ways, with frustrating levels of inefficiency. But there's no reason why we can't bring all those advances in manufacturing and logistics and a bit of digital disruption to the house building industry. Ayesha, next slide, please. So Atkins decided to do exactly that. We set up EDAROTH as a subsidiary so that we can look to tackle the social housing problem and build that housing gap, by using our technical expertise as technical professionals. So as Ayesha said, we're a property development team within Atkins, which is that's quite unique for an engineering consultancy. It's not a space that we tend to play in a lot, but what we do have is a vast array of technical experts from across the company, which we brought together to challenge that norm and see how we can deliver housing in a new way, which Richard and Ayesha will elaborate on a bit more shortly. So it's important to note that we're a socially focused business. So to accompany that technical excellence that we're talking about, we're applying to the social housing challenge. We're also looking to do this in a socially supportive and responsible way. So we're looking to deliver 100% social and affordable housing, predominantly for councils, and we want those councils to keep their land, allow us to develop it for them, and then they keep the homes once we're finished. So this is a bit unique in the industry, because normally a council would take that land that they own and they would sell it to a private developer who would develop it, and then they'd sell it on the open market. But land's a finite resource, and we're never going to be able to build enough houses to bridge the social housing gap if we sell off all the land. So we want to keep them, and by delivering housing that way, we make sure that our councils get the maximum benefit, and they get to keep their land, and they get to deliver that critical social housing where they need it most. So to test this, we partnered with London Borough of Lambeth, who themselves have a 20,000 person long social housing waiting list and limited land. And we partnered with them to develop one of their small sites as our pilot project, and to prove that as engineers and architects, we can start to make a real difference to the social housing problem by doing things a bit differently and a bit smarter, which Richard will tell you all about now.
Yeah, thanks very much, Pete. So as Peter said, we had a good idea, and the good idea was to change the way that we build homes, to take it out of the dark ages of inefficient construction into the modern world of manufacture. But more than that, we were looking to develop bits of land that weren't being built on. And the picture you can see here illustrates exactly that type of land. We set out with Lambeth to find perhaps the most difficult site we could to prove the point that if we build homes in a different way and we transform house building from a construction activity to a manufacturing activity, we could unlock whole parcels of land, huge amounts of land that could deliver that enormous gap between the number of homes we need and the number of homes that the house building market can actually deliver and is delivering year on year. So sifting through a number of difficult sites with Lambeth, we came across this one, and you can see it's not a particularly pleasant place, or at least it wasn't a pleasant place. It was a garage site. It was nested in the middle of what is actually otherwise a very nice social housing estate just near Streatham Hill, but those garages didn't have cars in them. They generally had junk, rubbish, asbestos, and in the worst cases there was all sorts of illegal activity going on from those garages. So it wasn't just a matter of providing homes, it was also about getting rid of this and turning what's a bit of a blight on a nice housing estate into a real asset. Could you go on to the next slide, please, Ayesha? And this is the end result. You can see it's a massive improvement. The residents that previously looked out onto some disused garages now look out onto some nice new homes, new landscaping, and it's really enhanced that community. But I suppose that the key question is, why did we do this? We had a new way to build. And we thought it was a good idea. We think it's a good idea, but it was really important for us to prove that, and to prove that to our potential clients. And so this build is more than just 4 houses. It's a tangible demonstration that it is possible to build homes in an entirely different way. That different way allows us to build homes on sites that would otherwise be completely inaccessible. And it's been an opportunity for us to learn, and I think that's perhaps one of the most important messages here, is that at Atkins we were able to come up with a good idea, but it's been backed and supported by Atkins, not just in terms of our time, but with real investment to make this happen. These houses were largely funded by Atkins, and so it's great to see a large company like Atkins picking up ideas like this and really putting money into it, putting time into it to make them happen and to change the direction of what we're doing. As Pete said, a consultancy operating in this market as a developer, as almost a house builder is extremely unusual, and it's been great for us, for all of us, to have the opportunity to push forward this new idea. Go to the next slide, Ayesha.
Yeah, when it manages to get there. Okay, so just going to talk to you a bit about the modern methods of construction that we use within EDAROTH, and it's basically an efficient way of building houses, and we do this by using off-site automated services to create the affordable homes. And we've really tried to kind of avoid the traditional, a bit messy, upsetting the residents way of creating the properties, but instead, we've come up with a really innovative, sustainable and efficient way to build social homes. So, Richard, I'm going to pass on to you because you know a bit more about
sure.
this. It's definitely your field.
So
sure, I'll let you crack on.
Yeah, so I mean, we've shown you this diagram because it illustrates really the approach that we've taken. These kind of diagrams are more similar to the Haynes manuals you might see with classic cars than traditional house building. But for me and for all of us, actually, I think one of the most exciting things about this opportunity with Atkins is the access we have to the breadth and depth of technical expertise. And most people may think that a house is a fairly straightforward thing, but that's not the case for modern housing. Modern houses are complex, high-performing machines, and if they're not, they should be. And we're turning them into high-performing buildings, not the low-performing traditional stock that you may be used to seeing. But in the design of this house product, we've had probably more than 25 different disciplines. Everything from architects to structural engineers, mechanical engineers, daylight experts, acoustic experts, manufacturing experts. The list goes on. And the ability to bring all of that together and to create something that really is industry leading, and I don't think I'm overselling it by saying that, has been fantastic. But it's not just this, actually, where I've experienced that during my time at Atkins. I've been lucky to work in a number of fields where the ability to bring together that huge range of expertise, and even areas that are beyond my personal experience and expertise, is really fantastic. What you can achieve when you have access to all of those people and to all of those disciplines is really exciting. Beyond this, I think we've really led the way in 3D modeling. So you can see here, this view is taken from our 3D models. We've effectively built the homes in a 3D world. So everything down to the last screw, the door handles, the sinks, the taps, absolutely everything is contained in this model. And so we're able to demonstrate that we can build homes in this way even before we've done it in reality. And even more exciting than that, all of this information is streamlined into sourcing across the globe of all our materials and products. It goes directly into manufacturing, so we manufacture all of the pieces in the house directly from these models. And even beyond that, we can use these models in virtual reality, as we have done, to experience the house, to understand what it would be like to live in and to use the homes, to maintain them, and to bring it to life for our clients. So, hopefully you'll start to see that the opportunity that we've been given to genuinely change the way homes are built and delivered is really, really unique.
So thanks, Richard. We've got a little video for you now, just to kind of wrap up all your thoughts on everything we've said. So just have a little watch. Sorry, unfortunately the video isn't working, but we're actually kind of already over time anyway, so we'll just crack on. It's more or less what we've all just spoken about, just ever so quickly. So we'll just carry on as usual. So I'm just going to talk to you now about how we kind of deliver our homes. So we are quite different to any other company, where we use end-to-end. We do the end-to-end process. So literally from beginning and talking to the local authority, right to the end of actually giving kind of the keys to the residents who now live in the property. And I think that's really lovely, because you see the entire process as a whole, and we have a great oversight of what's going on, and the opportunity there is amazing, because it's not like you're pigeonholed in a certain way. You're doing everything. We're doing everything, so we get to see everything that goes on and have a really good understanding of what needs to be done. So we start off kind of development arrangement, talking to the local authority, then we do the design, which is used by in-house Atkins engineers. And I think the beauty of this project is that we use and speak to so many different people. So we speak to structural engineers, mechanical engineers, acoustic engineers, the whole shebang, to like literally people who design the houses inside. It's really interesting. It's not just one certain way of doing things. And then we focus on our supply chain, where our colleagues talk to so many different people on a daily basis. Then we manufacture offsite, which is incredible in the sense that we speak to people from overseas. And I know, Richard, you went to China. One of our manufacturers are in China, so there's the opportunity to go traveling as well with the company, and it's lovely because you kind of meet different people, you learn about different cultures, different religions, different backgrounds. It's not just work, you're like learning as well, which is always great. And we assemble on site, which is great because we can quickly watch everything that happens, starting from a derelict kind of brownfield land site and then to a beautiful place with lots of lovely houses, and then finally we kind of hand over back to our local authority, and we see the residents who live there, which I think for me is like really important, because you get to actually see that what you're working towards, that all the hard work that you put in, you actually see the person who's now got a lovely home that they feel safe in and that they feel really comfortable in, and you've contributed to that, which I think sometimes you can't get from a project. And I think it's really important that you're actually able to see that, and you can experience that. So I just want to kind of talk about my experience as a young professional, a lot of you will be or are already, and just within such a small part of Atkins, the amount of experience I've had. So I started the team, started the EDAROTH project 8 months ago, just as we went into lockdown, which obviously is not the most ideal way to start a new project, meeting a new team. And it's been incredible. I've learned so much and had so many different experiences, not just from being like focusing mainly on the houses. I've done things that are around like the government. Like I've lobbied on like national level, talking to lots of different local authorities and MPs, and even things like stakeholder mapping, which would think it was really easy, but it's so interesting seeing how like different authorities link together and doing this means that, and it's just mapping out exactly what goes on, which is really important for a young person to know, because it might be easy, but now that you've actually learned it, you kind of understand how things work. I've done things in the space of the marketing events, which is always good fun, setting up events. Unfortunately, they have been all virtual, but it's been a great experience meeting and talking to lots of different people. And one of my favourite parts of my entire job, as opposed to like just the kind of project management of it, is that I kind of deal with the residents at Hillside Gardens, which is our pilot project. And it's my favourite part of the job because I interact with the people who live there on a daily, weekly basis, and it's lovely because they know that I'm their point of contact when they've got a problem or they need some help with something. And I think it's lovely because a lot of the time with projects, you kind of just you finish the project and you're on to the next one, whereas this is we genuinely do believe that like everybody does deserve a roof over their head, which is really important. And it's not just kind of like a property developer or whatever it might be. We genuinely do have an invested interest for the residents. So yeah, that's what we've hopefully given you a good understanding of what EDAROTH is and what we're all about. If we missed anything, feel free to let us know. So we've got some questions and answers for the next kind of 7-ish minutes. So please feel free to go ahead and ask some questions.
Yeah, thanks, Ayesha. So we'll just give people a chance to drop some questions into the chats. Let's start with this question from Ali. You mentioned talking to local authorities. I was curious about the extent to which residents and communities are involved and how personalised these housing solutions are to residents' needs. Shall I start? I think I'll start by commenting on that, and please jump in if you have anything to add. I think the simple answer is very, and often that happens as part of the planning process. We engaged with the existing residents around this site, both in the existing social homes, but also the private homes on the other side of the site, which you may have seen behind the new buildings, which is absolutely the right thing to do. And the type of sites that we're looking at are generally in close proximity to other buildings. That's kind of the nature of developing brownfield land in urban settings. And so it's really important that they're on board. But generally, people are really positive about this new way to build. What it means for them is less disruption. It means the removal of pretty unpleasant parcels of land and the replacement of it with nice new homes. So it's fairly clear from our visits to the completed buildings and talking to the people in the new homes, but also the existing homes, that what we've done has been has significantly improved the community that already existed there. Partly by remediating that site, but by removing criminal activity and a bit of a policing burden for the local authority. The point on personalisation is an important one too. We build a range of different homes that are suited to different types of occupant and residents. So everything from smaller occupancy homes for individuals or couples through to larger family homes. And of course, when people are in, they have a degree of flexibility to personalise the homes to their own needs as well.
Thanks, Richard. That was lovely.
Do we have any other questions? Yeah, so a question from Abby. Do you see the project developing elsewhere in the UK? And if so, where's next? So maybe this one's for Pete.
I picked that. So yeah, the short answer is absolutely. So we're engaging with a lot of councils at the moment about delivering exactly that, and that's all across the UK, in the Greater Manchester region mentioned earlier, all across the north, then west around Bristol and West Country there, and also in and around London. The housing problem isn't localised, and our response is nationwide. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thanks, Pete. Any more questions? Great. A question from Smither. Have you developed, or how have you developed your skills from an early career student joining the business? I think this is probably a good one for Ayesha.
So, yeah, really, how have I developed my skills? Working with a lot of the team has really helped that, and kind of not shadowed in a sense, but being given tasks where they're challenging, but I've had the support there when I need it, and doing a lot of research as well, and working with the team, and they show me things, and then I can then go and learn to do it. And a lot of the time, I think we've been developing like an internal system, and one of my roles was to kind of build the system. But it's great now because I can kind of own the system and I deal with it. And when people have questions, they come to me for it. So a lot of the time, my tasks are built from scratch, so I exactly know how to deal with them, and I have learned them myself, kind of thing. And I think what's lovely about the EDAROTH project is that it's really flexible. So I've been given a task, but I can make it my own, which I think is really nice, having that flexibility, and you can put your own touch on it rather than it just being like a process, which is good. But no, literally, I've had so much support from the team, which has been absolutely lovely, and they're such a lovely team to work for as well. We've got lots of different age groups at different characters, which is, yeah, it's a really good team to work with.
Okay, thanks, Ayesha. Any further questions? Great. A question from Daniel. How would an early career student get to work on this project? So maybe I'll share my thoughts on this. So I think there are a number of routes into to working with EDAROTH. I mean, Ayesha's spoken a bit about her personal experience as an apprentice, and how she's created a role for herself within EDAROTH. And I think that is an important point. My experience throughout my time at Atkins has been that the opportunity is there. There's a huge amount of opportunity to do all sorts of different things across the business, and that's generally very, very well supported. So there are opportunities, say, to work directly with EDAROTH as Ayesha is, but of course, outside of the immediate EDAROTH team, we have lots and lots of people who are working on the design of our product. probably upwards of 30 people at the moment. We probably have the same again working on project opportunities. So there are opportunities to work with us in more traditional technical and design roles. And I think, as Ayesha was alluding to, we're not a company that is at all hierarchical. The opportunity to demonstrate your skills and capability and to take responsibility right from day one are definitely there, and that's been my experience throughout. And because of that, my trips to China over the last year or two have generally involved people from across the business. So we've had graduates coming out to China with us, because in lots of cases it's those people who really understand the detail and the sort of nuances of what we're doing. So in short, lots and lots of opportunity there. I think we're probably running out of time now, so I think we'll wrap up there. Thank you for the questions. Before we close, just a reminder that the early careers opportunities are open already. They formally close on the 11th of December, but some of those roles are already beginning to close. There's lots and lots of demand, so I would really encourage you to get applications in as soon as possible. And then finally, the next in the Atkins and Me series is planned for next Tuesday the 17th, 1 p.m. You can find details on the online Digital Careers Hub. And that particular session will be an interview with Mark Goody, who's from our nuclear and power sector. We're looking at his career to date. So thank you everyone for joining. I hope it's been of interest, and best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.